Hey there, I'm Christine Collins, and I have for you today 3 tips in order to help you to get your content to have more purpose. And where this can really come in handy for you is if you are at a point where you are feeling overwhelmed with trying to create content, trying to be consistent with content. Sometimes we put ourselves into a position where we feel obligated to continuously crank out fresh, new, and exciting content for our audience, and we don't really have a purpose or a reason why we are doing that. Now, when you have a purpose for your content and there is some strategy behind it, not only do you have to work less hard, but you actually enjoy what you're doing more. So tip number 1 is to be intentional. And what I mean about being intentional is to make sure that the content that you're generating is tied and connected in some way to the key central pillars in your business or in your service offerings. So just to kind of bring that to life for you in an example, I very often talk about content, the importance of content being inspired, strategic, and easy. So those are 3 layers of content creation that I emphasize pretty frequently in the work that I do. So when I'm creating a piece of content, when I'm writing a blog or crafting a video or a webinar, I usually will try to tie the information that I'm sharing with those elements so that everything in my business is kind of streamlined and consistent, and the content that I'm sharing doesn't come across as just random or something that I'm putting out there that doesn't really have a cohesive feeling to the other things that I'm talking about. The second tip in terms of making sure your content is purposeful is to take a look strategically at how the content you're creating ties into the services that you're offering and making sure that there is some kind of a connection there. It doesn't have to be so direct, like where you're sharing a piece of content and it immediately ties directly into something that you're offering, although it certainly can do that. But you want to make sure that there is, again, a cohesiveness and a strategy behind information sharing, value adding, and then the additional layer of value that you can provide as a practitioner in some way. So if you're sharing content that is dramatically different from the services that you're offering, it may be confusing for your audience when they watch something and you appear to be really knowledgeable and interesting on that topic, and then they discover that you don't actually offer anything that relates to that topic. So making sure that there is some level of strategy involved with the content that you're creating for your audience. And the third tip, finally, is to have fun with this. Try to make it less of a task for you, because when you put that heavy burden on yourself, it can begin to feel like a chore, and it becomes just another thing that you have to tick off your to-do list where it's no longer exciting and interesting for you. And that is where the be inspiring piece comes in. When you get a genius, brilliant idea in your downtime, write it down and create your content around that rather than trying to stick to some kind of, very pinholed plan where you're kind of barring yourself in and boxing yourself in. It makes it less interesting and less fun for you. The more fun you can have with it, the more that will shine through to your audience, and then it'll become fun for them. And then it'll also make it feel easier on you, and it'll feel less like a chore and more like something that you look forward to doing. So I hope you found this to be helpful. Once again, I'm Christine Collins. You can check me out at transformcreate.com. And until next time, I hope that you have an absolutely magical and creative rest of your day.